everyone, my name is Grace, and today we'll be exploring the Image Trace tool in Adobe Illustrator. The Image Trace tool allows you to take raster images like JPEGs and PNGs and turn them into vector artwork with just a few clicks. There are endless possibilities of what you could create. You can turn photographs into stylized works of art, transform your hand-drawn artwork into editable vector forms to create anything from logos to complex illustrations, and transform known works of art into colorized masterpieces of your own making. So let's dive into this dynamic tool so you can have the power to create some incredible things. Okay, so here we have a photo of a cat. Today we are going to transform this cat into a vector image like the one you see to the right. In order to access the Image Trace tool, click on the image you would like to trace and look over to the Properties panel. In the lower part of the panel, you should see the Image Trace button. You can also access the tool by clicking on the Object menu option and scrolling down until you see Image Trace and clicking Make. When you use Image Trace, the tool is essentially grouping similarly colored pixels in the raster image together to create individual vectorized shapes of color. As you can see here, there are several presets you can use to achieve different effects and levels of detail in your traced image. Here, you can see these presets in action across the same image. The High Fidelity Photo preset enables a wide range of colors to be presented in the traced image in an effort to closely replicate the detailed appearance of the original photograph. However, some of the fine details in the original image have been lost. This is because the Image Trace tool is engaged in pixel clustering. This image can now be resized without fear of pixelation. The Low Fidelity Photo preset outputs a similar but more abstracted effect than its high fidelity counterpart, using fewer colors and thus fewer shapes in the final product. The 16 color, 6 color, and 3 color presets maintain coloration, but progress in simplification of color and shape. As you restrict the number of colors allowed in the final trace, the image will become less detailed as shapes that are more similar in color will begin to combine. These more simplified effects are great when creating stylized vector art, as the simplified color range and larger shape area allow the artist to easily change the restricted color palette to create entirely new effects. The remaining presets are devoid of color, making these effects particularly useful when creating grayscale works of art or simplified logos. The black and white logo and silhouette presets are great when extracting illustrations and logos from raster images. As you can see here, these effects are less effective when using a complex image like our example. The line art and technical drawing presets are also less effective on the sample image, but can be very useful when extracting simple lines from an illustration within a raster image. Now that we have a grasp on what each of the presets do, let's explore how to apply these presets to create a stylized image. Clearly, this photo has been abstracted quite a bit, so I can imply that it's using a restricted color palette. So I'll select the 16 color preset from the drop-down menu. Now that the preset is applied, I can see that the abstraction is still not where I would like it to be. So I'll go over to the Properties panel, navigate to the Image Trace section, and click on this menu button that looks like a box with 2 bulleted list items. This opens the Image Trace Settings panel. Here you can adjust how many colors will be displayed in the trace, change which aspects of the trace from original image to outlines is displayed, make fine-tuning adjustments, and so much more. So to make our image more abstracted, I'll shift the color allowance from 16 to 10. In the process of abstraction, we've lost the green color of the cat's eyes. In order to restore that color, we are going to expand this trace to be able to edit individual shapes within the image. So, ensure that the traced image is selected, go over to the Properties panel, scroll down to the Image Trace section, and click Expand. You can also expand your image trace by navigating to the Object menu option at the top of your screen, hovering over Image Trace, and clicking Expand. Okay, so as you can see, the trace is no longer one image, rather it is a series of shapes. Now you can go in and change individual elements with ease. However, once you expand an image, you can no longer utilize image trace settings or go back to the original image. So when you go back to expand your image, make sure that it is formatted exactly how you want it to be before you expand. The shapes that make up this image trace are grouped, so in order to easily isolate an individual shape, select the image and click Ungroup. Now that the trace is ungrouped, I'll zoom in on the eyes and pick colors similar to each other to alter together, changing dark colors to dark greens and light colors to light greens. Now we have an abstracted vectorized version of a cat created through the use of the Image Trace tool. I hope this video was helpful. Now go and make your own vectorized image creations. See you later!